My name is Ruth Mthembu, and I'm a young South African woman that currently lives in the beautiful city of Durban. I'm also a communications specialist, an ocean advocate. I'm also part of the IMPAC5 Young Professionals Committee, and also the beautiful movement known as the Youth for Marine Protected Areas, Youth for MPAs. So why am I passionate about the ocean? Well, just like music, it is the world's greatest unifier. South Africa is a beautiful country, rich in diversity, people, culture, food, languages, wildlife, and marine life. Species that are found in a single region or country and nowhere else on Earth are known as endemic species. And in terms of endemism, South Africa is remarkable by any standard. In an article I read, written by the South African National Biodiversity Institute, also known as SANBI, approximately 40% of South Africa's estimated 10,000 marine animal species are endemic. South Africa ranks as one of the top 10 nations globally for plant species richness and for marine species endemism. South Africa also holds 3 of the world's 36 biodiversity hotspots. But there's another side to South Africa, one that I need to paint a picture of so that you can better understand this beautiful movement of young people that grew out of it. So now that we've got all the formalities out of the way, how am I actually doing today? Well, I don't know. Do you want to know the real answer, or do you want to know the surface answer? Because when it comes to South Africa, where do I even start?
Death toll from the recent floods in the South African province of KwaZulu-Natal has risen to 49.
Dozens have died in what authorities are calling the tragic toll of the force of nature. In some areas, months of rain fell in a single day and without warning.
Traumatic plague that continues to haunt the country, gender-based violence and femicide.
In this struggle. The one thing I will hold on to is that to your very last breath, you were fighting.
It is not right that young women have to think twice before they go into the public, into the streets. We want to live freely. We want to walk freely.
What exactly are the solutions to the joblessness among young people? When you're actually physically looking for work, you don't understand, but where are these jobs?
So South Africa is diverse in a lot of things, including its problems. South Africa is one of the most unequal societies in the world. We live in a society where extreme poverty borders the properties of wealth, unemployment is at an all-time high, violence against women and children, alarming rates. And when it comes to unemployment, specifically between young people between the ages of 15 and 24. In the third quarter of 2022, the stats showed that the unemployment rate there was at an all-time high of 59.6%. And this creates a really huge problem for government because there are so many competing interests. Government has to alleviate, or rather eradicate, these problems. I know that it is a lot to bear, but it's been in these harsh environments that a special movement grew. A movement of young, amazing people who came together for one common cause, ocean protection. And so this movement started in 2018, the Youth for MPAs. It started off with a workshop. We all came together, we were taught by well-known, well-respected marine scientists. And it was a group of us, a group of marine science students, graduates, and just young people who had a keen interest in the ocean. But we were not just only taught about the ocean, we were also taught about the fact that only 0.4% of the waters around South Africa were protected in marine protected areas. So in the room that you're sitting in right now, imagine what 0.4% looks like. It would be a really small corner in the room. And that would be the only spot that is protected, leaving the rest of the room vulnerable to danger. And that's the sort of danger that our oceans were in. So our work was really cut out for us. So with that in mind, we knew that we had a target to reach. So how were we going to get South Africa to protect more and more of its waters? Well, 5% was what we were going for. So we knew that we had to do all that we could. So we had our work cut out for us. We attended rallies, protests. We wrote letters to the Department of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries. We engaged with them in workshops, tried to support the government in many, many ways. And just when we thought it wasn't going to happen, we received some amazing news. I remember I was at home that day. It was the 25th of October, 2018. And I looked down at my phone and I saw a tweet, breaking news. Cabinet has approved the declaration of 20 marine protected areas, moving from 0.4% to 5% protection. It felt so good to achieve this and to celebrate something that we had been fighting for so long. And this is when the magic happens, when government, marine scientists, youth, organizations come together to fight for a common cause, in this case being protection of the ocean. So our target was for government to reach 10% marine protection by 2020. But of course, we didn't thumbsuck these figures. Our government actually got on a global stage and promised that this would happen. So we were just there to serve reminders. Fast forward to 2021. The Youth for MPAs movement started to plan a summit, an African summit for African youth by African youth. We called this the African Youth Summit. The Youth for MPAs spokesperson at the time, Marissa Naidu, and her colleague Kajol Lechman, who is a wonderful friend of mine, fellow ocean advocate, and also a member of the Youth for MPAs, they got together to plan the summit alongside the committee. And they worked tirelessly in planning, coordinating, and creating what would be one of the most amazing summits we would have ever created. And so how were we going to make sure that the summit was going to be amazing? Well, we had to have objectives. And so the objectives of the summit were to mobilize the African youth, allowing them to take ownership of the global 30 by 30 agenda, to build capacity, learning, and knowledge sharing for the youth across the African continent, to provide a platform for youth to engage with various stakeholders by facilitating a number of discussion sessions, and lastly, to foster a consortium of young, environmentally conscious leaders across the African continent. We had our objectives done, we had all the planning done, so how were we going to let the youth of Africa know about the summit? Well, we had to develop a website, social media pages, and a killer promotional video. And when were we going to release this video? The 16th of June, Youth Day. And in South Africa, the 16th of June is a very, very important day. It's a national public holiday where we remember and celebrate the lives of young students in Soweto who took to the streets to protest on the 16th of June, 1976, against the apartheid government's imposition of Afrikaans by the apartheid regime as a medium of instruction in schools. The uprising ended tragically, with hundreds of young people being brutally killed. So we couldn't think of a better day to release this video than Youth Day. Why? Because what the young people didn't have freedom to do back then, we could do today. And we thought, what better way to release such a beautiful promotional clip than on a day where we remember the beautiful lives lost of the youth of 1976. So here is our African Youth Summit's promo video. Have a look at the magic that we created.
The power lies with us, the youth, the leaders of tomorrow, the custodians of a better future.
Jumuika nasi mwezi huu wa Agosti, tuhamasishe vijana wa Kiafrika wachukue nafasi kama walinzi wa bahari yetu. Tunakualika katika kongamano kubwa kabisa la vijana ambapo tutakuza ufahamu wao, tutawaelimisha na pia tubadilishane mawazo kati yetu tukiongozwa na wataalamu.
To keep ocean protection top of mind, you can bank on us to build environmentally conscious leaders of tomorrow.
The summit kicked off on the 20th of August, and youth from all over Africa were present. We were taught by amazing marine scientists, and we were also entertained by fresh, young talent. The summit ended with a youth statement put together by us all. But what stood out for me specifically in the statement was the following. We are all facing a rapidly changing climate and alarming loss of biodiversity. Therefore, support is urgently required for ambitious global targets and tailor-made, action-orientated solutions that improve ocean protection for the African continent. It is now well recognized that the global 30 by 30 target of protecting our oceans is not only important for the long-term health of our oceans, but also a target that needs to be implemented immediately to prevent further degradation and collapse of these ecosystems. But the best part of this statement is what was written at the end of it. In closing, the youth of Africa are a tremendous resource for our continent and represent powerful agents for change. Upskilling all youth, regardless of gender, age, race, and creed, in marine conservation, both academically and professionally, will prove powerful in their journey to becoming true leaders of a better tomorrow. There has been tremendous growth on our continent, with youth being granted the opportunity to build their capacity, learn from experts, and to share their knowledge with each other. We are committed to continuing our drive for ocean protection and human well-being, and to work alongside all stakeholders in efforts of increasing ocean protection for Africa now and into the future. What's more remarkable about the youth of South Africa and the Youth for MPAs movement is that it has grown from 10 to 30 to 50 to 150 and now to over 400 young voices. Yes, 10% protection has not been granted as yet, but we are focusing on the 30 by 30 global target. So what has happened to some of the Youth for MPAs members? Where have they gone to? How have their lives evolved? Well, even though we still love the ocean a whole lot, our lives, of course, changed. We do different things, but despite that, they have gone on to do amazing and wonderful work. So I will highlight just a few of these individuals and the work that they have done over the years. Stephanie, a lover of the ocean, a diver, now an editor of a well-known magazine in South Africa, is married and is expecting her baby soon. And what a life that will be, passing down her knowledge to the next generation. And if we continue to prioritize ocean protection, her child will enjoy the benefits of the ocean that we have. Shamir, a diver, a young man passionate about the ocean. He went on to produce a short film titled Rise from the Cape Flats, talking about his life growing up in an area notorious for gang activity and high crime levels, and how he rose above that and found hope in his love for the ocean. Today, he teaches children who are growing in that very same environment about the ocean and all that is in it. Jamila, she has a background in stable isotopes, estuarine and coastal ecology, filmmaking, science communication, and marine activism. She has participated in stakeholder engagements and public speaking with a passion in sustainable use, intersectionality, and marine environmentalism as well. She also released a short film, which went on to air on our national TV channels, and her film has also featured at various film festivals. Nobuhle. She has been a Youth for MPAs member since day one. She recently graduated with her master's degree in zoology and is currently a PhD candidate in fisheries. She's also traveled to various conferences, local and international. Her passion lies deeply in the academic understanding of the ocean, and she has been an inspiration to many, myself included. And me? Well, I no longer work full-time in the marine conservation space. Although I'm now working in corporate for a leading retailer, ocean advocacy is close to my heart. I guess that's where the real test is for me. Will I still love and fight for ocean protection when I'm not working in that space 24/7? When I'm not being paid to do so? Absolutely. And this is because the beautiful big blue blanket and all that is in it is nestled deeply in my heart. Another thing that I'm really passionate about is communication. How do we effectively protect the ocean without communicating meticulously about its benefits and the need to protect it? This led me to start a website called tactfully.co, where I help young professionals to master the art of communicating tactfully. And of course, I'm also a member of the IMPAC5 Young Professionals Committee, and I am here with you today. Okay, so now that I've gotten all of that off my chest, will South Africa grant 10% ocean protection? Well, it's hard to tell. Like I mentioned at the beginning, life is really tough over here. There are so many things that need to be rectified. We live in a society where someone's daily struggle is trying to find their favorite coffee shop close to the beach, where somebody else's daily struggle is how they're going to find food to feed themselves. As a young woman in South Africa, I am at risk of being raped. I'm at risk of being murdered. I'm at risk of being violated every single day. With a melting pot of diversity in culture, language, wildlife, marine life, and with another melting pot of problems, including our ongoing electricity blackouts, extreme poverty and unemployment, what will be prioritized? I don't know. What I do know, though, is that there is a special movement of young people in this country who love South Africa and want to see it prosper. Part of prospering is prioritizing people and their well-being. And part of that is to prioritize marine protection that contributes to their well-being. The math is not difficult here. We are behind the 30 by 30 global target. We are behind marine protection. Thank you for your time, but it's not your time that we need. We need action. And if you forget, we will always be here to remind you. My name is Ruth, and I represent the over 400 young voices, people who are fighting for change. And so I'll end off with this. How am I feeling? Well, I feel like a tall glass of 30 by 30 and nothing less.
You can put 100 grand on it. Anything I said, I stamp on it. In a private plane, I land on it. They and they call me bank on it. Cause I walk around with a bank on me.
Did you just see what I saw? That was amazing. What an amazing energy that she channeled. I think we should all stand up and give her a big applause. I mean, yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, you want to meet her? Ladies and gentlemen, joining us live from her home in South Africa is Ruth.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. So delighted to have you here. We're all blown away from your video. We couldn't believe it. It was fantastic in every single sense, you know, from the production, from the content, from the heart. You're channeling so much energy. And thank you so much for introducing you to your network and everyone that you have inspired and vice versa. And also here we have an audience. We have the youth committee, as you know, at IMPAC5. We're just really honored to meet you. And we are really sorry that you couldn't be here with us today. So we just want to, again, maybe say, do you have anything you want to say to the audience here live, particularly youth? What is their contribution to the 30 by 30? We want to have a little bit more of you. Can you talk to us?
Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. Lovely to see all of you. And I think just if I could say one thing, actually two things. Firstly, I just want to say hello to all the IMPAC5 Young Professional Committee members. I'm so glad you all are there, and I'm so sad that I couldn't be there. But this is just amazing to know that you are not only just in attendance, but you also all just love this beautiful life-giving ocean that we have. And the second thing and last thing I'd want to say is that my hope for 30 by 30 is that, God willing, should we be alive and well at that point, that we won't just be satisfied with the bare minimum, but that we would follow your lead as the current leaders of today and take this fight forward and continue to protect this beautiful, life-giving ocean that we have. And so I just want to thank each and every marine scientist, leader, policymaker, activist, whoever you are in the ocean space. Thank you for all that you do for the ocean. We are watching, we are inspired, and we will hold your hand through it all going forward.
Thank you so much. And we are all inspired by you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your inspiration and everything that you do. And I can tell you the youth is very much here. They're spreading their love, their energy. And this afternoon, they're going to take to the streets. They're going to really express their concern for whether it's deep sea bed mining, or they are really here when their voices are heard strongly. So thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.